So yesterday I did the character profiles for Galen, for Arjunin, and I didn't actually record it. I did it after I was finished recording when my video of yesterday was rendering. But I also did Dania. I don't even know how I'm going to pronounce that. Let's say Dania, who is going to be the medic, the healer / doctor of the settlement. So I made a little profile for her as well. She's going to be one of the POV characters. So today we're going to continue with the other two POV characters, which are a woman who arrives as a new person to the settlement, and then the entity. Let's get started. So this is actually a new way I am doing my character profiles. So before, for characters, I did paragraph format, detailed. I want to do it differently. I feel like setting it up as name, age, gender, appearance, personality, and background just gives me a good basis to work from. It's just clearer. And this book is going to follow a lot of characters, so I want it set up really clearly who everyone is. For you, if you're writing a book, you do your character profiles how you want. What works for you? Try different things. Try this, try more paragraph structure. Everyone is different. But for me, I think I feel good with this. I know some things about this character already. We have her, she will be 18. Then you have Galen, who's 19, Arjunin, who's 20, Dania, who's 29, and then the entity, the final POV, will be much older. I guess in this book, one of the themes I'll explore is the change in generations, the new way versus the old way, transference of power. I think it's quite relevant to the world we're living in now. Society is changing at a very rapid pace. Technology is changing at a very rapid pace. I think it's quite relevant. So I know she's female, I know she's 18. Name. Galen, I don't know where that's from. Arjunin is kind of... I came up with the name a while ago, but before, in the previous story, the Sakharan Empire, which was the empire that Arjunin was a prince of in the previous version of the story, it was inspired by Malaysian, kind of ancient Malaysian culture. I think Arjunin was inspired, if I remember correctly, by that. Same with Dania, I actually looked up Malaysian-inspired names for that. But this outsider is from somewhere else. I want a different type of name. I don't even remember how I came up with Galen's name, but I like it, so I'm keeping it, and it makes sense. The way I come up with names, I mean, it depends. I have multiple ways. I'll show you a cool technique for names. This is the more fantastical names, or names I make up. For example, if I needed to come up with the name of a place, let's say, some random place, what I do is I type gibberish on the keyboard, and then I make it make sense. So I go through H followed by D doesn't work, not by S, but H followed by I works. Hispix. So that's what I got. And then I'm like, do I like Hispix? Maybe not. Maybe I like Hissix better. Maybe I want it more fantastical. Remove the B, Hissix. Maybe I want it more fantastical. Let me add the Y in there. Now I have the name of a place. That's just an example, but that's one way how I make character names. If I want them to be completely weird and unique. Place names, maybe creature names if I'm creating a creature. But the other way is just for character names. Sometimes I'll pick a country or a culture around the world and go through names from that place and put something together. So in this case, let me think. I don't know why, but the first country that came into my head when trying to think of something was Germany. So now I don't want it to end with A because Dania ends in A. Ooh, Edith could be Gretchen. I like Gretchen. Gretchen is number one. Yeah, nah, Gretchen. I like Gretchen. appearance. Let me think, what do I see her as? Let me check the other. She should be, since I'm going with a German name, let's go with German looks, shall we? One way I might find looks is I look at someone and I describe them best in my own words, and that becomes a character's look. Sometimes I just feel like there's a vibe, there's certain characteristics I want. Figuring out a character's looks can connect to anything. You can connect it to a theme, you can connect it to plot, story, you can just make it different from everyone else. In this case, I think I'm gonna look up an image of someone, describe it in my own words as best I can, and then amend it to fit what feels right. Okay, so we're building out Gretchen here. Did her appearance by basically just taking the look of someone from online and then just adapting it to fit the setting. Now we're gonna go to personality. Like, this is subject to change, like all these things. It's just a base that I'm gonna work on. So I'm basically gonna brain dump everything I think about how she will act and then try and coalesce that information into a few traits. Okay, I think I got a few decent personality traits. This will be a guide for when I'm writing and how these characters will react to different situations. Now for the background, which I know the background, well, I know some of the main elements of the background. This is just creativity. As I write, some things will come to me and I'll do it. Whatever I think seems cool. That's Gretchen done. And now, very good, a nice base. Now it's time to do the entity, the final POV character. I'm once again having doubts if the entity should be a POV. I feel like the entity knows too much. Too much information is just given straight away. Let me think. Okay, I've decided. Yep, there are going to be 4 main POVs. I think Galen, Arjun, Danya, and Gretchen, because having the entity as a POV just reveals too much too early, adds too much. I think with these 4, I can go deep. Yeah, that's better. That is much, much better. And then, so the entity will be a more side character. Should I make her a bit older, I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe she should be have been entity for longer. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's pretty good. So I got star characters, which will be my POV characters, Galen, Arjun, Danya, and Gretchen. Then I got my main characters, will be the entity and the void. And let me think. So this will be an ongoing process, of course. I'm just wondering if I should do, if the minister characters, you know what? So I think I'm gonna chill with the character profiles for now and get to planning the actual plot. And then as I, go through the plan and I come across a character, I'll then go back and make the profile for them. And I'll keep going back and forth and amending as I need to. I think for now, the 4 characters and the 2 leaders I have very clear in my mind now. That's done. So I'm gonna stop here for today, and then tomorrow we start planning the plot. This is gonna be great. AA Watson out.